Copywriters, what is the most important page on your website? It's the homepage. Okay, so I hope you knew that, but if you didn't, let's kind of dig into what makes a homepage successful because it's super important. By the way, I'm Sarah Turner. I'm a freelance copywriter and copywriting mentor, and I want to help you make your website more effective because I have seen a lot of newbie copywriter websites, and let me tell you, there are some common mistakes that copywriters make. So the first thing I want to encourage you to do is to make your web page actually one long page where the menu actually pops down to each relevant section. This is important because each time somebody has to click on something to see more information, they are less likely to stay on the page. They're more likely to click away. And you're more likely to just lose them overall. So if you keep everything on one long page, you're going to make it more likely that they'll just kind of naturally scroll through it. So that kind of makes everything your homepage. So what I'm really talking about here when I say your homepage, if your website is set up this way, which I highly encourage, I'm really talking about the first part of your website, including what is called above the fold. The part that's above the fold, meaning the very first thing they see when they land on your website, should tell them exactly who you are and who you serve. And really, I want to encourage you to avoid being super cutesy here because being ultra clear is most important. So being super clear about who you are and who you serve is going to capture the right people immediately. Now, as they scroll down, you really want to use your copywriting skills and address them. Speak to them as if they are one individual person and speak to them as if you know what their problems are and how you're going to solve them. So spend some really time touching on the pain points of your ideal client. Make sure you're saying, you're busy. Time and money and sales and growth, those are all common pain points. Usually, for copywriters, most of our ideal clients are going to be people who are stretched for time, who are trying to grow their business. They're usually very passionate about what they do. And so you want to make sure you touch on all of that by focusing on them. This is the mistake that newbie copywriters make. They make their website about them, and it needs to be about their clients. You gotta talk to them and you gotta really drive home that you understand them. Making them feel understood is one of the best possible things you can do because they will think that, okay, this person is familiar with my industry, my business, my niche, whatever it is. And so I know I can trust them to really, capture my tone, help me with my marketing strategy, whatever it is. So take the time to make sure that you're touching on their pain points so they really feel understood. Pretty quickly, I want to see you move into a CTA. That can even be right under the description of what you do as a copywriter before you kind of dig any deeper. And I want to encourage it to be setting up a consultation with you. So you can make this really easy for them so they can set up into Calendly or send you an email to set up this initial consultation. And one of the things I want to encourage you to do is if you have space or where you talk about in more detail this initial consultation, make it sound like you're going to come to the table with a lot of value. So I like to say something like, on this call, I'm going to have prepared for you a bunch of ideas to help you, your strategy, and help you achieve your goals. And it's going to be a really concise conversation. So even if we don't work together, you're going to walk away with a ton of value. Don't put on your website, let's chat. Because honestly, most people, when they see that, they think, okay, I don't really want to hop on a phone call with this stranger, this potential copywriter, and just chat, right? You want to sound like you've got so much more to bring and that you're going to be really concise and respectful of their time. So I want to encourage you to avoid the let's chat verbiage on your website. So make sure you're including the most important things, including who you serve, why you're going to help them, how you're going to help them, what you offer, a brief about you that is, again, written in a way that really focuses on them and not on you. And of course, contact information. So your copywriting website can be super simple. I'd also encourage you to have a portfolio and any businesses that you've worked with in the past. Keep in mind that your portfolio can always and should always be kind of updated to reflect some of your best case scenarios and results that you've gotten clients. Some bonus recommendations include definitely use SEO. This is especially effective if you have you're working with a certain location. But whatever it is, make sure you incorporate SEO. Also be sure that it looks great on mobile. This is why I really recommend Squarespace templates, because they generally look more timeless, professional, and they look fantastic on mobile. I can generally tell if somebody's built something on Wix. In fact, I had a student who had a coaching call with me, and she was really struggling to get clients, even though she was really great at what she did. And I looked at her website and I immediately saw it was built on Wix, and it kind of looked like it came from the 90s. And I was like, look, I hate to tell you to do this because I know that this is not your favorite thing. She was not very tech savvy and I'm not very tech savvy, but I was like, I really want to encourage you to move your website over to Squarespace and to choose a template that looks a little bit more professional, high-end, and timeless, and let me know how that works out for you. And when I followed up with her 30 days later, she had actually booked 4 clients. No joke at all. It was not her client acquisition. It was that her website just simply looked a little outdated. So do not underestimate the power of a really clean, simple, timeless website. One of the best things about looking high-end on websites is usually they're very minimalist. So it's fantastic for anyone who doesn't have a really strong design background or an eye for design. I am definitely one of those people. So make sure that it looks great, especially on mobile. Make sure that the load time is fast, because that's another thing that kind of gets people clicking away. If it doesn't load fast enough, then they are immediately not interested in moving on to the next thing. As we all know, we are constantly moving and our attention needs to be grabbed. And then finally, make sure the letters are clear enough and dark enough to read easily. Really avoid using frilly and fancy and honestly somewhat cheesy fonts. Just stick to the clear and concise fonts that can be read very easily. So I want to encourage you to build your copywriting website again with the focus on your ideal client. That's truly the most important thing here. And I want you to also keep in mind that your portfolio pieces can constantly be updated. So just do your best with what you have now, and remember you're always going to be able to revisit it, because that is the biggest concern that I hear from newbie copywriters. So I hope this helps. Go ahead, hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe. And of course, I always love hearing from you in the comments. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this one. Thanks, guys.